That opening shot of the General Lee soaring over a dirt road. The stuntman was wearing flip-flop. A Yale-educated counterintelligence officer who spoke 6 languages hid inside Boss Hogg's fat suit. These are 15 hidden details you completely missed in the Dukes of Hazzard. Number 15. The Dukes of Hazzard evolved from the 1975 film Moon Runners, which was based on real moonshiner Jerry Elijah Rushing from Monroe, North Carolina. Rushing started running moonshine at age 12 in a modified 1958 Chrysler 300D he named Traveler after Robert E. Lee's horse. The General Lee was originally going to be called Traveler before producers decided General Lee had more punch. Rushing appeared as shady used car dealer Ace Parker in Season 1, Episode 4, expecting it to be recurring. He successfully sued Warner Brothers for using his life story without adequate compensation. Watch Episode 4 closely. The shady car dealer is the real moonshiner who inspired the entire show, but the man who played Bo Duke wasn't who producers thought they hired. Number 14. Bo Duke was written for a 24-year-old Southern country boy. John Schneider was 17 or 18 when he auditioned. Born in Mount Kisco, New York, Schneider showed up to the Warner Brothers casting session with week-old stubble, a borrowed pickup truck, a cowboy hat, chewing tobacco, and a 6-pack of beer. He drank one while waiting, then offered one to the casting director, told producers he was 24, from Snailville, Georgia, which doesn't exist, and that he had graduated first in his class from the Georgia School of High Performance Driving, which also doesn't exist. He landed the role on the spot. Look at Schneider's baby face in Season 1. He's visibly younger than Tom Wopat. Number 13. Tom Wopat and John Schneider had never met before their audition day. According to Mental Floss, the two bumped into each other in the men's bathroom before their screen test. Schneider spotted Wopat's guitar and they struck up a conversation about music. They walked into the audition room together, performed with instant on-screen chemistry, and both were hired that day. That random bathroom encounter created one of television's most iconic partnerships. Director Gy Waldron later said he knew immediately they had found his Duke boys. Watch the pilot episode closely. The natural ease between Wopat and Schneider in their very first scene together is genuine because they had literally just met minutes earlier, but America would hear the narrator's voice for 146 episodes without seeing his face. Number 12. Waylon Jennings narrated every episode as the balladeer, but appeared on screen only once, in the Season 7 episode Welcome Waylon Jennings, which aired September 28, 1984. The opening credits showed only his hands strumming guitar, never his face. Jennings wrote this frustration into Good Old Boys with the lyric, "You know my mama loves me, but she don't understand. They keep a show in my hand, and not my face, on TV." Watch the opening credits. The camera never rises above Jennings' collar. When he finally appeared on screen, the episode featured Buddy Holly's motorcycle as a prop, deeply personal since Jennings gave up his seat on the plane that killed Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper on February 3rd, 1959. But one character's transformation happened entirely by accident. Number 11. James Best, born Jewel Franklin Guy in Powderly, Kentucky, was uncle to the Everly Brothers and a World War II B-17 gunner. He was teaching acting at the University of Mississippi when creator Gy Waldron cast him. In the pilot and early Season 1, Roscoe was written as a serious, aggressive sheriff who actually shoots a criminal in Season 1, Episode 3. Best personally transformed the character when producers realized children were the core audience. He didn't want kids afraid of police officers, so he reinvented Roscoe as a childlike bumbler. The signature QQQ giggle came from a voice Best used playing with his own children. Compare Roscoe in early Season 1 versus Season 3 onward. The transformation is visible episode by episode. Number 10. The General Lee's welded shut doors were never part of the original plan. During filming of the very first chase scene, the passenger side door handle was damaged when the car hit a row of mailboxes and could not be opened from the outside. Tom Wopat simply climbed through the window as a workaround. Director Rod Holcomb loved the move so much he had John Schneider do it too, and it became a permanent feature of the show. Only the first two General Lees, LEE-1 and LEE-2, had full roll cages. All subsequent cars had only a roll bar to make it easier for actors to squeeze through. Watch the pilot chase closely. You can catch the mailbox moment that created a signature element. Number 9. Tom Wopat's first hood slide was completely unplanned. He did it spontaneously during a scene, and the directors loved it so much they kept it and made it a recurring element. The cost was immediate. Wopat cut himself on the car's antenna during that first slide. Despite the injury, it became one of the show's most recognizable signatures. Stunt coordinator Paul Baxley later worked with Wopat to perfect the timing so he could avoid the antenna in future take. Watch for slight hesitation in early hood slide. Wopat is learning to avoid the antenna while maintaining the fluid motion that made the move iconic, but the horn's origin was even more random. Number 8. The General Lee's horn playing the first 12 notes of Dixie was a spontaneous discovery, not a planned production choice. During pilot filming in Covington, Georgia, crew members heard a car drive by blaring the distinctive horn. They chased down the driver and bought the horn on the spot, reportedly paying $300. According to Variety, they later discovered the exact same 5-trumpet air horn was available in the J.C. Whitney catalog for a fraction of the price. Only one General Lee, the first unit car driven by John Schneider and Tom Wopat, ever had a working horn. Watch episodes 1 through 5. You can see the actual horn mounted on the car. Later episodes use dubbed sound. Number 7. Producers wanted a Dolly Parton look-alike for Daisy, blonde with an hourglass figure. Catherine Bach, a tall brunette of Mexican-German heritage, had already been rejected from Charlie's Angels and fired by her own agency for not being television material. The producers were out sick that day, so creator Gy Waldron snuck her over to CBS and got her the part before anyone could object. The original costume plan called for a tight white turtleneck, go-go boots, and a poodle skirt matching the boar's nest tablecloth. Bach asked to bring her own outfit instead, a homemade t-shirt and cut-off denim shorts. CBS censors required flesh-colored pantyhose underneath. Those shorts spawned a poster that sold 5 million copies. Compare early homemade costumes versus later studio-provided outfits. Number 6. Stunt driver Al Wyatt Sr. holds the record for the longest General Lee jump at 236 feet. He reportedly wore shorts and flip-flop sandals. The iconic opening credits jump, performed by Craig R. Baxley at Oxford College in Covington, Georgia, measured 82 feet long and 16 feet high. The car was totaled on impact, but the footage appeared in every episode's opening, making it the only General Lee to appear in all 147 episodes. Every jump was manned. A stunt driver sat in the car for every single one. Prevent the front-heavy Chargers from nosing over, mechanics placed 500 to 1,000 pounds of sandbags or concrete in a steel-reinforced trunk compartment. Watch landing impacts closely. The slight delay before driver movement shows the bungee system at work. Number 5. Production consumed an estimated 250 to 325 Dodge Chargers over 7 seasons, roughly 1 to 3 per episode. At the start, 10-year-old Chargers were just cheap used cars bought from local lots. As the show devoured them at an industrial pace, supply collapsed. Production hired light aircraft to fly over rural areas and junkyards, spotting Chargers from the air. Scouts left notes on windshields and grocery store parking lots. Car builders Andre and Renaud Velouza charged Warner Brothers $250 per week for rental plus $2,000 to $3,000 upon destruction. By the final season, only 9 Chargers were acquired. Watch later seasons closely. The switch to obvious miniatures is unmistakable. Look for glass inside windows during jumps. Number 4. Sorrell Booke graduated from Columbia University at age 19, earned an MFA from Yale School of Drama, where he starred alongside Paul Newman, and served as a U.S. Army counterintelligence officer during the Korean War. He spoke 6 languages fluently: English, French, Japanese, Spanish, Russian, and Italian. On set, Booke weaponized his intellect for comedy. According to John Schneider's DVD commentary, Booke and guest star Andrew Robinson once performed an entire scene in Japanese as a prank on James Best, leaving the bewildered actor completely lost. Booke weighed 185 pounds in real life, but wore foam rubber padding, making his waist appear 52 inches. Watch Booke's precise movements despite the padding. His gestures are those of a trained stage actor, not a buffoon. Number 3. CBS originally commissioned the show as a 9-episode mid-season filler for the Incredible Hulk's time slot. Nobody expected it to last. CBS chairman William Paley publicly described the show as lousy and said the network would be a laughingstock for airing it. The show then climbed to number 3 in the Nielsen ratings during the 1980 to 1981 season, behind only Dallas in 60 Minutes. It drew over 21 million weekly viewers at its peak and generated more merchandise revenue than almost any show in television history. The General Lee alone received 35,000 fan letters per month, more than all the human cast members combined. Watch early episodes knowing CBS executives were actively embarrassed to air them. Number 2. By 1981, Dukes of Hazzard merchandise was generating $190 million per year for Warner Communications, documented in the company's own financial report. Tom Wopat and John Schneider's contracts entitled them to 5% of merchandising revenue, yet each had received only $16,000 total by 1982. In spring 1982, both actors filed a $25 million lawsuit and stopped showing up for work. Warner countersued for $90 million. The studio screened 2,300 actors before selecting Byron Cherry and Christopher Mayer as replacement cousins Coy and Vance Duke. Ratings dropped from a 37% share to 29%. By January 1983, Warner settled and all litigation was dropped. Watch Coy and Vance episode. They're performing line for line Bo and Luke's scripts. Number 1. Production used an estimated 300 plus Chargers. Only 17 to 19 original screen-used General Lees survive today. The most historically important is LEE-6, 1986, the oldest all-original unrestored General Lee in existence. It was sold to transportation coordinator Don Scheisler for $10 and considerations when production left Georgia after the first 5 episodes. It still wears its original hand-painted graphics and is on permanent display at the Volo Auto Museum in Volo, Illinois. LEE-1, the car from the famous opening credits Jump, spent 23 years in an Atlanta junkyard before being discovered by a collector in 2001. Look at LEE-6 at Volo Museum. The hand-painted 01 shows visible brushstroke. A $10 car is now a priceless piece of television history. The Dukes of Hazzard was built on lies, accidents, and improvisation. A teenager fabricated his entire identity. A Yale-educated spy hid inside a fat suit. A $300 impulse buy became TV's most famous horn. And a show its own network called Lousy destroyed 300 cars and became a cultural phenomenon. Which hidden detail surprised you most, and what film should we open next?